Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Nick, and today I thought I would talk to you all about my top 16 characters in Community from the worst to the best. It's just my personal 16. It was really hard to narrow down exactly which characters to put where and just to actually have a specific list because so many cast members changed to recurring, to side, to just main. So I made this list. It's my personal list. It's not going to be your list. If it is, then hey, we got the same list. But that being said, before this video, I made a That 70 Shows ranking of the seasons. If you want to go check that out, it'll probably help my channel out a little bit more. I'm trying to build an audience here. But that being said, guys, this is my number 2 sitcom, just below That 70 Show. I've been wanting to talk about this show for a while. It's made a resurgence on Netflix. So with that being said, let's just get into this video. Starting off at number 16 is Elroy Patashnik. I believe that's how you say his name. It's been a while since I have actually physically heard his name. Because that being said, he comes in at number 16. He shows up in season 6. He's played by Keith David. Nothing against the actor or the character even. I think he's at least justifiable in season 6 for the most part. He just doesn't add anything that new or fresh than just being a new cast member. At least to me, he just shows up season 6 episode 2, not even the first episode, and he's only there for 15 episodes or 12 episodes, however many episodes season 6 is, and he's fine. He does what he's told to do by the writers, but to me, he just, all the flavors and everything mixed from the beginning of Community to the last episode of Community, he just feels like a character thrown in there because they had lost some other team members along the way. Coming in at number 15, Buzz Hickey. Now, he's not at number 15 because I have such a dislike for him or anything. The only problem with his character, I thoroughly enjoyed his character. Season 5, episode 1 to the finale. He's one of those characters you would think they would keep along for like season 6, which with season 6, if they would have kept him, he probably would have been higher on the list because he's only in season 5 for 13 episodes, the entire season 5, and he doesn't come back. I don't believe he's referenced again, and you even gave him character development in season 5 with his son. It's like you tried. Granted, you probably thought he was going to be a main character, so you do what you can to keep him relevant and get that character development when he is just a new character. It's just one of those weird things where he's only a main character for one season, not in the first 4, not in 6, just in 5. But I gotta say, I love that actor. He's in Breaking Bad, and maybe he didn't come back because he was doing Better Call Saul, but that's just my opinion. Number 14, Frankie Dart. Now, again, she is a technically season 6 character. She's in one episode of season 5, but that to me felt almost forgettable because most people just totally forget she was in there before season 6, but she was, and she's in a sense more enjoyable of a character than Keith David's or even Jonathan Banks, but Paget Brewster plays her pretty well. A little quirky, adds a more fresh dynamic. They reference how she's trying to change the group because it's like you can't just be a new replacement, the meta references. She tries to come into her own, and by the finale, she does do enough to justify herself being there and to actually give a sense like she had a purpose, trying to make the school better, and she did that. And by the finale, it felt worth the time to at least have her as a main character compared to maybe Keith David's. But again, number 14, it's still kind of low on the list, but you get what you can with season 6 of Community. Not by all a bad season, just not up to par. Number 13, Garrett Lambert. So Garrett Lambert, he's the very quirky, just big boy dude who just wants to he's been there since the beginning. He's always been in like the side character stories of the main cast members, whether he's helping out with the science-y parts with Dr. Ian Duncan, or just having a wedding to marry his cousin. So, his character comes in at number 13 because he's in a majority of these episodes, and he's not a main character, but he is there for at least 40 episodes, and you're just like, this character is a standout. You like his character, thoroughly enjoyable. Just a nerdy guy with glasses. And his voice is so distinct, and it's like, I always wanted to know if he's playing that to a higher degree than his normal voice is, because there's one episode where you get like a straight voice from him, and it's just like, whoa. But yeah, with that being said, Garrett Lambert comes at number 13. Thoroughly an enjoyable character still, but comes in number 13. 12, Leonard Rodriguez. Leonard, rest in peace, my dude. He is just, he's a saint in this show. Like, he gets kind of crapped on by the characters here and there, but at the end of the day, I think they all have a respect for him. And as an audience member, we have a respect for him. He's got to be the oldest guy on the show. And I'm glad he got to be on that show for its entire run, from the first season to the last season. It just shows what Dan Harmon really wanted. And from what I remember, Dan Harmon actually let the actor who played Leonard be in the show because he liked him from his earlier days and his early work. So it's just really cool, and I really appreciate that from Dan Harmon, always trying to like bring these characters to help him out. But Leonard gets a lot of screen time, man. He did leave like a big mark on the show, in my opinion. Like, you don't forget who he is. Like, some characters you're like, oh yeah, like Leonard, you're like, Leonard. So he comes in at number 12 just because there's so many characters, but to me, Leonard is still one of the best characters in Community, and just overall amazing. Number 11, Alex Starburns. So at first we all knew him as Starburns, then he becomes to be Alex, and then he's only in like the first 3 seasons because he worked with Dan Harmon as a writer and a producer. So during the gas leak year in season 4, he left, came back in season 5. His death was fake, and to me, he's one of those wacky, zany characters. Just something in the beginning of the show they probably just threw on the wall, but like, let's just put stars on him and then call him Star Burns. Then everyone's gonna roast him like every time, and then he'll fake his death. Like, it's just like you get character development with him, but it's never like it's never that realistic. But I mean, getting his character is still really funny, and he's just one of those like always wants to be involved with the things, and is always sad that no one can actually remember his name or remember what he is. So maybe that's why he kills himself, or fakes his death, so he can become more notable. But in the scheme of things, that's not what's going to happen. Number 10 is Dr. Ian Duncan. Now, he would be higher on this list if he had more episodes, but he's really in hardly any. He's in the first 2 seasons, and then he's in season 5, and then he doesn't show up again, which is one of the things I'm sad about, because I thoroughly think he's a great character. He comes in at number 10, but he's one of my favorites. He's a standout. I mean, John Oliver just plays that to perfection, in my opinion. I would never have known about him until Community, and he's in that pilot episode, so it's like you get him a good majority of season 1. Season 2, a little bit less, but he's still in there for a decent part, and he's what helps build these characters in the first couple seasons. I mean, he is the one who gives Jeff a second chance to do these classes, and wants to help him out with the test scores. Like, he's in that pilot episode like a big chunk, and it kind of sucks that he didn't get to be in the season 6 finale. Granted, he was probably doing his own show and doing other movies or other things, but at least a cameo, man. I mean, the dude helped set up this fantastic show, and I like John Oliver. He's got such a great voice. You can listen to him talk all day. He's hilarious. Number 9, Benjamin Chang, or just Chang, the guy who had Changnesia for the gas leak year. Ken Jeong is such a unique character, and just because he's at number 9 doesn't mean I dislike him. And if anything, this list now is just getting better and better by just each one. Ken Jeong plays Ben Chang to perfection. He's one of these characters that every season he has a different role. Season 1, he's the Spanish teacher. Season 2, he plays the new student trying to join the study group, so he becomes a teacher, then the student, and then season 3 he becomes a security guard, and then season 4, as I said, he has Changnesia, so he just is forgetting himself, and then he's actually not forgetting himself, so really weird. And then season 5 is the first time where he actually tries to come into his own, actually be an actual character, not just somebody who changes. So once season 5 happens, then he doesn't change in season 6. To my knowledge, he is basically the same for most of season 5 and 6. So he does have a lot of character development and thoroughly just an insane character to come to television. I mean, he played that role to perfection. Like, a lot of these characters really were played so well just because of the actors and what they were bringing to the table. And such an early experiment phase of season 1, you could already tell that all these actors and characters were just going to be so good. We didn't know how good this show was going to be or how phenomenal, but once it got kicking in, especially with Modern Warfare, fantastic. Ken Jeong, thank you. I love you so much, man. He's such a good actor. See, Character 8, I'm sorry. Character 8 is Dean Pelton. Now, Dean Pelton, this show, man, Dean Pelton is like you think Ben Chang, played by Ken Jeong, is like, what the hell? Jim Rash, Dean Pelton. How do you come up with this character, man? Like, it's like unfathomable how someone came up with this character. Like, let's make a dean of a community college, and then he's always wearing different dresses. He comes into the study room. He's like wanting to touch Jeff all the time. It's like I don't know if I could even come up with that idea. Like, it's almost so unimaginable to me that's why the character is such a standout. It's like, who thinks of this crap? Dan Harmon, what are you smoking, bro? I mean, damn. But I love Dan Harmon and Dean Pelton, man. Without him, this show would be missing just a good chunk of itself, because he's really a standout in the first 2 seasons, and then once he becomes a main cast member, he really does a fantastic job. You know, I feel like, by the end, the show does lose a little bit of its steam, so it's like, why are some of these characters even here still? But obviously he's the dean, but it does feel a little bit forced towards the end with some of these characters, like him being the dean and Chang and just all these characters that are just like, we're in season 6 of a community college. Probably don't need to be going this route, but for what it is, it's still highly enjoyable, especially in those first 3 seasons. Number 7, Shirley Bennett. Now, we're getting into this top tier type of character list, because these are like the main cast members of just what made this show. And Yvette Nicole Brown, who played Shirley, I totally was unexpected to see her in this show, because I knew her from Drake and Josh. So she's just a lighthearted character who can have a bit of arrogance, somewhat of a tiny ego. She wants to be appreciated and loved. I mean, she has kids. She's a great mother. Her storylines can be sometimes, not that they're uninteresting, but sometimes just with her ex-husband, or, she got cheated on and you got to deal with the repercussions of that and feel for her, which is fine. And I thoroughly am fine with her storylines, but sometimes it just feels a little heavy-handed when she just always needs to have the community group come together and console her. But at the end of the day, they all want to be consoled, so I don't really hold that against her anyway. Number 6, Britta Perry. Now, Britta Perry is a character by Gillian Jacobs, and I don't know why I'm talking like this. She's a good character. She comes in at number 6. I just feel like in the beginning she was like a love interest character. Like, she had, her mindset of like what she was passionate about, her rights, but I feel like she came more into her own as the seasons went on. So by the time the show ends, I feel like you really got to know who Britta Perry was, and one of those characters from beginning to end. You see that change over time, and she stayed all 6 seasons, and you get to really understand her own personal self interest and why she really acts the way she acts, I guess is a one way to put it. And also with Shirley from number 7, she is a main cast member for 5 seasons, and then season 6 she leaves, and she's in the first episode in the finale, so that's why she's a little bit lower, but at least she came back for the finale. I forgot to mention that part, so that's why I'm bringing her back up. But going now back to 6 to number 5, Pierce Hawthorne. Now, Pierce Hawthorne, played by Chevy Chase. Now, say what you want about his character or just the actor himself. A lot of people compare that he was the character in real life. Maybe that is. I mean, I've seen some stuff that kind of points to that, but if we're just focusing on the character, he's a great character because you see him in the beginning. He starts off kind of like, a dick, but then he changes. You actually get to see this character change and grow, and as much as he is still the same person, like in season 4, you still see him grow and actually care for these individuals too. All these people have to care for each other. They want to come back and stay, and I thoroughly thought for someone like him and his personality that can have those soft moments where he'll actually just have a real talk with you. Like, I don't know. When Pierce became a real person, when he had those real talks with you, it really meant something, because just seeing him change and grow just really hits me, and I think it's one of the highlights of the show. And it really is sad that he didn't want to be in the show anymore. He's in the season 5 premiere for a small cameo, and then after that he just leaves. So, hand in hand, you don't get that much after that. He's mentioned first few episodes of season 5. I really don't think he's mentioned again. I mean, obviously there's not too much of a reason to, but it's really sad that he couldn't come back at all, and he didn't want to be back, so it's really disappointing. Number 4, Annie Edison. Now, Alison Brie, perfection. Love her as an actress, as a character in this show. She is beautiful, to say the least. Not that the other characters aren't beautiful, but she's just got a special spot here. She's really attractive. I like her. Not too much, just the right amount. We don't try to sexualize her, okay? She's 18. Wait, I'm like 21, so I might have a chance. Oh wait, though, the show came out. Oh, it's horrible. Anyway, number 4, Annie Edison. Annie Edison. She's just a lighthearted psychopath. I mean, what else do you need from her? Like, she went crazy with the pills and being an outcast in high school, to being such a lovable character who wants to do medicine so she can take it, pop those meds, pop. But she really just, from the main cast members, she just is. You're not gonna forget her, man. She's there. She has such a high octane personality. You cannot forget Annie Edison. Like, she's in there all 6 seasons. She did what she was asked to do. She did all of her parts just the right amount, and all her story changes from the first season to the last season. She gets fantastic character development, and she was one of the things I liked about Pierce. Her and him had like this special relationship and this dynamic that really was just kind of like cute, and you're like, oh, that's so nice. Like, that's why I wish Pierce was still there, so they could all grow together, and they're not all together. It's so heartbreaking to me, but the show is still amazing, and Annie Edison is just a lovable psychopath, man. Number 3, Troy Barnes. Troy Barnes. The first episode, I think even I remember when I first started the first episode, I was like, he's just going to be a jock character, like he's going to be a douchebag. And then I watched the show and I didn't realize it until rewatch, because it's like once you get in the show, it just throws you in and you're just like, oh, I'm over here now. And so after I rewatched Community, that first episode, you're like, man, they really made you think he was going to be this kind of like jock douche character, but by episode 7 or 8, he's already changed and characterized, and I don't know if it was like meant to be that fast of a change, but without that change, I would not like him as much. And him and his relationship with Abed, one of the best things about this show, which is why it breaks my heart again that he's only in Community till season 5, episode 5, and then after that he's mentioned, here and there, but he doesn't come back for the series finale, which is just heartbreaking because the biggest thing about this show is just him and Abed's relationship. And it's another thing that I just think loses steam in the later seasons is just Abed, because he doesn't have Troy to work off of. He's still a great character, but without Troy, Abed just doesn't have that same spark. But Troy Barnes, Donald Glover plays him. As I keep saying, they play these characters to perfection. They just have such close places to my heart. They just know what they're doing, and they don't let go. Even when he does leave, he still gives it his all in the first 5 seasons, and I think without his character, you'd be missing such a huge part of the show, because his humor is just impeccable. And my favorite scene, I think, of his is just when him, Annie, and Abed are trying to chloroform that one janitor dude, and then he just freaks out, and he just starts not dancing, he starts like hopping over all the place, like he just knows how to go all out, and I love him for it. Coming in at number 2, can you take a guess? Jeff Winger. Not number 1. You probably know who number 1 is, but number 2 is Jeff Winger. Main body of this show. Without him, this wouldn't be the show. Dan Harmon is literally pouring his own self into Jeff Winger as a person and his character, and you can see it. I mean, all 6 seasons he's there. Kind of be weird if Jeff wasn't there in the other seasons, because he starts the show. He's the one who is making the community what it is. He made them the study group. He's the culmination of just everything in this show, and without him, the community wouldn't feel like community. And I honestly think Joel McHale, I only saw him in Ted, but this character, he just steals the show. You feel, with all these characters, you believe that they are these characters, and Jeff is just another one who gets great development, and by the series finale, you really feel that he's a changed person. He's gonna miss the study group. He doesn't want to leave them, but that's all part of growing, and with these TV shows, that's what happens. But from being just, this douche, dickhead dude with somewhat of a heart, he really learns by that first season, and every season, to me, he just grows into a better human being, and this show just really knows how to make you connect with a character. Coming in at uno, if you haven't guessed already, Abed Nadir. For a lot of people, I feel like they think he's a side character in the group, not as the show itself, just the main cast. He's like the side character, but if you think about it, rewatch the show, and now since Netflix is giving everybody the show now, like it wasn't there before, he is such a standout. He is like you think Jeff is what Dan Harmon is, but Abed is just the next level of just meta references, pop culture, all the film geeks. I can just literally relate to almost anything he says, whether he's talking about Brett Ratner being upset just about story changes or the dynamic changing, Troy leaving. You can just feel everything he's feeling. If you're a movie and TV show nerd, you're gonna connect with him as well. He's based off of real person that Dan Harmon knew, and I just honestly, from that first episode of Abed, he is one of those characters that doesn't change too much, but he has growth in small spurts, so he doesn't overly change too much because of just the way his mindset is, his personality, which amazing character. I think Danny Pudi plays him the most. It's like he just flips on a switch and he just knows how to play that character, and it's really hard for actors to do that well, and you have to have the right material, really good writing, and you have to be able to just do those characters justice, and he does it so fantastic. Without Danny Pudi playing Abed, this wouldn't be the same way. It would just, I can't see any other actor playing them. any of these characters really, but Abed specifically, I can't see almost any other actor playing him. And him and Troy, just that relationship. Without that, that's another just huge heart of this show. And it's fantastic writing, man. This show has fantastic writing. He stays for all 6 seasons as well, so you get to see him change. And that's the whole thing about the season 6 finale, is talking about season 7 and doing the whole meta thing. So, you know, a lot of these characters bring certain things to, like, where the story is driven, and he comes at number 1 just because of how much I connect with him, how much he's just one of the most interesting and unique characters of the show, and it's really hard to see almost any other show compared to that specific of a character. But yeah, guys, that's my top 16. A couple honorable mentions. Brie Larson plays Abed's girlfriend for a little bit. I thought she was a cute standout. I liked their dynamic. Wish she came back for a little bit more. Magnitude, just because he's one of those unique characters that pops up here and there. Thoroughly enjoy him. It's just crazy, all these different characters. You know, John Goodman has a role in season 3. Some of these characters, they just come in for like seasons, so it's like hard to really view them as like standard characters to really list, but there's still so many other characters that are thoroughly enjoyable. But this list is just the top list, and I found the top 16 that I thought were just really the best characters that the show came off of. So this is my list for community characters. Hope you liked the video, guys. I did that 70 show ranking of the seasons. If you'd like me to do a community ranking of the seasons, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, guys, this is just one of the best sitcoms of all time. If you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. It's on Netflix. It is on Hulu. It's just like, I can't believe that now it's getting popular again only because it's on Netflix. It's just like, this is what happens with streaming, I guess. But again, with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.